So moving on to success then. What does success look like for you now?
Gosh, well, that is a difficult one because clearly I would like more money, but for me, I've never been a material person. Um, Obviously, I'd like a new kitchen, but for me, success is about not necessarily achieving something, but wanting to do something and going for it 100%. And if you fail, you fail. But if you've given it your best shot, so I want to write a TV serial, and I've got an idea for it, and I'm like, I can't do that because
Comedy or serious?
well, serious, but I'd like it to be funny. I'd like people to really love the characters, and in order for them to love them, they've got to be funny. Do you know what I mean? They've got to
Yeah.
be likable. Um,
Yeah.
and I kept thinking, oh, who am I? I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone who works for the BBC. And you can talk, you think your way out of everything, but actually, that's a goal. And if I don't do it, I'll be cross with myself. If I do it, then great. But at least if I give it 100% and fail, it's the journey half the time is just as fun as actually doing it. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that success is,
Absolutely.
I think my answer to your question is being brave enough to go for the things that you want and give it 100%. And that's success. If I look back and say, well, I never gave it 100%, that will be a failure, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And a regret
Yeah, yeah.
that you
So
can't
never regret,
get
just keep
back.
going forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And has that changed then? When you were younger, what do you think your definition of success would have
Oh,
been? Because obviously you've had a few life changes where you've pivoted to different things. So are they a marker of perhaps when your idea of success changed?
no, I think I was just bored. And, not having any focus, just kind of going, right, I don't like this, I'll just go to China. I don't like this, I'll go to South America. I think success when I was younger, I've always wanted to, write stuff and do creative stuff. I wasn't very good. I was in my head, I could always see the art I wanted to create, but I could never draw it.
Mm.
And, writing wasn't really an option. I had to get a job, I had to support myself. And success, I just kind of never really thought about what success looked like. I let life guide me or just take me where the wind took me. And
Mm.
I think that was a mistake. I've always wanted to have experiences more than money. So I think success for me when I was younger, I didn't allow myself to think what I wanted. I just kind of thought, right, well, I've got to do well in my job. I've got to do this. That's success. I didn't really kind of do that reflection and really
Mm.
delving down into what I wanted and what I needed and what suited me as a person. I just thought, that's what you do, isn't it? Someone from my background, you go and get a job and you just do it.
Yeah.
But
No, I totally agree with that because I've kind of wafted through life.
yeah,
I just kind of like I moved to London just purely because my housemate from uni was like, "Oh, I'm moving to London. I need a flatmate," and I was like, "Oh, I'll come then."
yeah, yeah.
Didn't have a job or anything when I went, and then lived there for 2 years, then drifted back up. So yeah, I kind of just let life happen to me, I guess, until like recent years. And I think, yeah, I don't know if it's a generational thing that perhaps, what was because there was sort of a defined success in terms of you get a job, get a profession, get a house, get a car, and that's it. That's your lot.
Mm,
Whereas I think the next generations are much more about finding their purpose,
yeah.
what lights them up, and there's much more awareness around that, isn't there?
I think they've got the kind of language that we didn't have. I used to suffer really badly with anxiety. I mean, I don't have it now, which is weird, but I used to be really anxious when I was in London, and it was quite, debilitating. I didn't have a word for it. You know what I mean? It was just like, I'm being pathetic, stop being so angst. And
Mm.
I think now people have a lot more kind of knowledge, language. it's okay to have kind of dreams and things. You weren't just expected to get a job, settle down, get a house, all that stuff.
Mm.
You weren't expected to kind of go and write a book. Do you know what I mean? Because that wouldn't bring the money in. It's like people
Yeah.
told to go and get trades, because that's what you do, So I don't know. I think younger people today, they haven't got it easy. I'm not sure I'd want to be
Oh
young
no.
today. They've got their own challenges, but they certainly have more. I think there's more introspective kind of looking at what they want and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, which can only be a good
Yeah,
thing,
totally.
hopefully. Because, like you say, it has been tough for them. I mean, the kids that are the teenagers coming through COVID, I think
Yeah,
there's
well,
a
my
big
kids.
problem looming with mental health.
Yeah, yeah, and also kids nowadays, buying a house. You know, it's tough for them. And everyone says, "Oh, kids nowadays," but every generation has its challenges. We were the
Mm,
we I was Generation X, who apparently I didn't even know they had all these different generations. We drank out of garden hoses and cycled our bikes till the lights went off, and all this sort of stuff. And kids now, they
yeah,
just play on their phones, don't they? So we had a lot more freedom.
yeah.
So it swings and
Well,
roundabouts.
that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah,
We'd disappear for hours. Like I always say, I was normally 50 miles in the opposite direction to where my mum thought I was. So, but she couldn't track me on because I didn't have a
no.
phone that you could track your
And we used to
location
climb
on.
up the
So,
motorway. They were building a bridge over the motorway. We used to go and climb up it, dangle our feet over the edge, watch the cars going by. Couldn't think any of it.
yeah, different
Yeah,
times.
totally, totally.
Yeah. So, thinking of those times, then, what do you think young Andrea would say if she could see you now?
What would young Andrea say? Young Andrea
Mm.
probably would tell me off and say, for Christ's sake, um, look at all the mistakes you've made. Why didn't you you knew that you wanted to do interesting stuff. You should have had a bit of strength and gone out and done it. So now you're old, past it, you know, do your best and try and do those things that you always wanted to do when you were a kid, but too scared to do, really. So try and be a
Yeah.
bit braver, if you like.
Well, but all those things you did have brought you to here.
Yes.
So all those, like your traveling was brave, and even making. I know you said you did it because you were bored or whatever, but actually, rather than just putting up with being bored, you did say, right, well, I've had enough of that. I'm going to do something else. So that shows a lot of resilience and tenacity, I think.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, and I think when you kind of when I wrote the books, I think sometimes being a little bit older helps because, like you say, you kind of can laugh as you get older. You look back and laugh at how ridiculous you were in the past, and when you're in
Mm.
it, you can't really see it when you're a kid, but now you can laugh about all the stupid things that you did. And I mean, thank God they didn't have mobile phones when we were in London.
Yeah, I'm very grateful I grew up without camera
Yeah,
phones
me
because,
too.
oh my God, too many dodgy pictures would have been
Exactly.
out there. Still a few. There's still a few like hard copies
Yeah,
that I found when I was moving house, and I was like, "Oh, we'll put those
yeah.
back in the
We'll
box."
burn
I think.
those in the grill. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So do you want to tell us about your books then, and where people can get them?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I my mind went completely blank then. My cancer book is called Stay on the Bus. And it's like how to navigate breast cancer diagnosis and treatment. And when they cut the apron strings, it's available on Amazon. The podcast is called Get It Off Your Chest, The Funny Side of Breast Cancer. And it's available on, well, anywhere that you listen to your podcast, basically. I'm on Instagram if you want to look us up there. And my other book is called Throwing Salt at the Devil, which is a novel about two runaways. So yeah, hopefully all your millions of listeners will download it today.
Yes, I was interested. Is that sort of semi-autobiographical, your novel, based on some of your travelling exploits,
Um,
or
well, I think the least interesting character in my novel is based sort of on me, um, to be honest. Kind of, anxious about things and, you know, not really sure. So, yeah, the more interesting characters aren't based on me. They're on people I probably wanted to be. We'll
yeah,
see.
brilliant. Well, thanks for coming on today. That's been really interesting, and I think it'll help a lot of people who perhaps aren't aware of your podcast and book, who might be going through something. That there is a lighter way to approach